Sometimes I think about my dad or my grandfather walking through here and seeing what we've done with the equipment we have now, where everything is just so controlled that it's almost impossible to make an inferior string, because we stuck to saying to ourselves every day, this isn't good enough, we can make this better. John and I had settled into a really great relationship where, he handled the core parts of running a business, the nuts and bolts and the finance and the insurance and the medical plans. And I would just focus on new product and new machinery and new marketing. John was invaluable, but he retired at a very early age, which made it necessary for me to learn a lot of the things that he did and to find other people to do them for me. There really hasn't been a reliable supplier that we could count on for super high quality wire ever. You just couldn't get it. And back in the day, and there were a lot of specialty wire companies, and one of them was National Standard. And there were 3 former National Standard employees that used to run the lines. And they bought a lot of the really old equipment that National Standard was junking, and they formed a company called TruSpec Wire. And we were relying on them as a significant part of our source of supply. In 78, 79, we bought a percentage of the business. I went up there once or twice a month and designed machinery. We struggled for many years to get them to manufacture a decent quality wire. By 2010, we now owned the whole company. We just basically junked everything and ordered very sophisticated, state-of-the-art wire drawing machinery from Germany. And we re-engineered the process from the ground up. The way we measure the hex, the way we plate the wire, the way we draw the wire. So we have 6 drawing machines for high carbon steel now, and we have a very sophisticated nickel-plated steel wrap wire drawing machine and 2 phosphor bronze 80/20 brass wrap wire machines. We now make the most consistent, highest quality music wire that's available. In 2013, when we moved the wire mill here, I challenged the team to improve the tensile strength to see if we could raise the bar and make a wire that was stronger and stayed in tune better. It's not easy to do. You're on the borderline of being perhaps too brittle and the string breaking. So we can only tweak things so much, and we spent a whole lot of time on the steel core and the plain strings before we came up with the material we were going to utilize in the NYXL string offering. We also wanted to change the wrap wire so that it was a different sounding wound string compared to our regular XLs and other alloys that we make, stainless steel and so on. We tested, like scores of different electric magnetic alloys that might work as an electric guitar string winding. And we kept coming back to nickel-plated steel. So between that, a slightly stronger steel, and the fact that we fused the twisted area of the plain strings so that there's no noosing down or settling in, the strings stay in tune significantly better. And they last longer. We also wanted to really do a big beta sample of the product. We thought we would market it as a premium XL string, and then we ended up with NYXL because we're making the wire in New York. We mailed out, about 15,000 sets, and the response was absolutely phenomenal. People were taking videos of opening the package and posting comments. Most of the people picked up on the tuning stability. They were shocked at how well the string holds pitch and it doesn't slip. When the pros recognize the improvement in a product like that, you've got something. We've spent about the last 4.5 to 5 years developing our XS coated string. It was the biggest investment the company's ever made in a product development effort. We had to literally build machinery and make the film ourselves and process it and slit it and everything that, was required to get the job done. We did it.
The coated guitar string that makes everything else sound like a thing of the past. Introducing XS.
Our XS strings would not have happened if we didn't have the laboratory. that we have today. We had to buy some pretty sophisticated equipment. We had to buy like an electron microscope. Without that device in our lab, so that we can actually look at every string that failed or look at the coding, how it frayed, we needed to be able to A/B our string against the competitor's string and against our former EXP and XT coded strings from various vantage points. Acoustical damping is the coding deadening the sound of the upper partials. And when a string fails, like our process for coating strings uses heat to cure the plastic. But too much heat in there, you might change the temper of the core and make it weaker. And we know our competitor has big problems with that aspect of the coated string business because the thinner strings, the core gets a little weaker and they're more prone to be broken if somebody's playing them aggressively. That laboratory is going to just continue to get more sophisticated without a doubt. We feel like we developed like a really tremendous solution to a long-lasting coated string. And about 2.5 years ago, I was excited because we finally got some prototypes that we were really thrilled with. It took a long time, and I was really proud of it. And we had sent one sample to Andy Powers at Taylor Guitars. For the first 25 years of Taylor's history, they used D'Addario strings. And then a coated string came out that lasted longer on their guitars, and it helped sell their guitars in the store because the string looked better after 3, 4, 5, 9 months, because guitars don't sell the moment they get shipped to a store. And here it is 25 years later. We sent him one sample of the XS string, and I'll never forget, I got a voicemail from Bob Taylor because, he heard the sample and so did Andy, and they were really impressed with it and wanted to talk with me. It was so gratifying for me to have Bob and Andy recognize what we accomplished with the XS string. I'm really proud that XS strings are now the preferred string at Taylor Guitars.
We do a lot of things to make our operations more sustainable. It's very important to me and my family that we do no harm to the planet, or we minimize the harm we're doing. And that's not always easy to do. It's hard to recycle a string. We have a recycling program. We fund that. It costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with TerraCycle, but it's not easy because the materials are all assembled together. You got a piece of core wire with winding on it, and that costs money. You're giving away significant part of your profits to do that. But I think those are the things that socially responsible companies have to do.
In 2008, we were starting to experiment with using less chemistry, fertilizers, insecticides, Roundup to kill weeds. It's all poison. You're putting this reed in your mouth. So we started cutting back. I just challenged the team to try one field first and see what happens to go completely organic. And as we did that and learned it, and we learned what maneuvers to use instead of chemistry, we figured out how to fumigate the cane without using any chemistry to kill any bugs or whatever before you ship it. And it makes the same kind of cane. And we know that when your kid puts that reed in their mouth, that it's going to be safe and it doesn't have any kind of residual poisons or something on it. We got the field certified first, then the processing areas in the south of France and in Mendoza got certified organic. We introduced the Reserve and our Select Jazz reeds as certified organic. So this was a major project. There was so much experimentation and learning along the way. I'm really proud of this effort. It's a major breakthrough as an advancement for the woodwind player. And the beauty of it is there's no detrimental effect on the reeds doing this. If anything, it's better that there's less chemistry being used. The D'Addario brand was launched in August 1974, so it's our 50th anniversary of our brand, 2024. The next phase of my involvement has to be stepping back a little bit and thinking about the succession. And we know that we have to have really great non-family member managers and creatives and everything, in every role. But it is certainly nice when the family members are involved because eventually they become stockholders and they understand the business, right? We have a family assembly where we get together for 2 or 3 days, and the 4th generation, the 5th generation are there learning about the business. This year is the first time there's enough of the fifth generation where they're actually going to be meeting on their own, separate from us. They got to pick it themselves. That's the way I think you guide them into happiness, because really, being happy at what you do is the most important thing. I consider myself one of the luckiest people on the planet because I never got up one day in my life and thought work was work.